What made you call the police on your own mother? When my dad died suddenly from a heart attack, our whole family was crushed. Me, my sister Katie, Mom, everyone. Dad was only 52 and seemed healthy. One day he was fixing the garage door. Next day, he was gone. The funeral was a blur, but I remember Mom crying harder than I'd ever seen. After the funeral, things got weird fast. Mom started acting strange, really strange. She wouldn't let anyone see Dad's will or any paperwork. When me or Katie asked about it, she'd get defensive and say it was too painful to deal with. She'd lock herself in her room for hours, wouldn't answer the phone when Dad's friends called to check on us. 3 weeks after Dad died, I was helping Mom clean out his office when I noticed she kept shoving papers into this manila folder every time I walked by. When I asked what those were, she just said they were old bills and snapped at me to focus on the boxes. That was the first red flag. Mom never snapped at us, especially not during this time. That night I couldn't sleep. Something felt off. Dad always told me and Katie that we'd be taken care of no matter what happened to him. He'd say stuff like, "Don't worry, kids. You'll never have to stress about money if something happens to me." But Mom was acting like we were broke or something. She even told Katie she might need to drop out of college because money would be tight. I waited until Mom went to bed, then snuck into her room, found that manila folder in her dresser drawer. Inside was Dad's will. I read through it with my phone flashlight and my stomach dropped. According to this document, everything went to Mom. The house, Dad's life insurance, his 401k, everything. Nothing for me or Katie. Not even the college fund Dad always talked about for our future kids. But something looked wrong. The signatures looked off, and there were weird white marks on some of the text, like someone had used whiteout and printed over it. The paper quality was different in some sections too. I took pictures with my phone and went back to my room. The next morning I called Dad's lawyer, Mr. Williams. I'd met him a few times when Dad updated his will after Katie graduated high school. I told him about the document Mom had and asked if he could verify some details. His voice got really serious, really fast. "Ethan, I need you to come to my office today. Don't tell your mother yet." I drove over during my lunch break from work. Mr. Williams had the real will ready for me to see. My hands were shaking as I read it. Dad had left equal shares to all three of us. Mom got the house and half the life insurance. Me and Katie each got a quarter of the life insurance plus money from his 401k. There was even a college fund set up for future grandkids, just like Dad always promised. The will Mom had was completely fake. Someone had whiteout over the original text, typed in new information, and forged Dad's signature. It wasn't even a good forgery. Mr. Williams showed me Dad's real signature from other documents, and they looked nothing alike. I felt sick. My own mother had stolen from us, from her own kids. While we were grieving our dad, she was busy scamming us out of our inheritance. That evening I confronted her, walked right into the kitchen where she was making dinner, and put both wills on the counter. "Want to explain this?" Her face went white, but she didn't even try to deny it. Didn't act surprised or confused. She just looked at me with this cold expression I'd never seen before and said, "You're young. You'll make more money. I earned this after putting up with your father for 25 years. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She talked about Dad like he was some burden, not the man who worked 2 jobs to pay for her car and our house. Dad loved her more than anything, and she was acting like he owed her. Katie's student loans, the college fund for grandkids, Dad specifically wanted that money set aside. Mom shrugged. "Katie can figure it out, and you're not even dating anyone seriously." That's when I realized she wasn't sorry. She wasn't embarrassed or ashamed. She thought she deserved to steal from us. I walked out of the kitchen, went to my room, and called the police. The officer who answered asked if I was sure I wanted to file a report against my own mother. I told him yes. This was forgery, fraud, tampering with legal documents. The fact that she was my mom didn't make it less illegal. They arrested her the next week. She spent 2 days in jail before making bail. The whole neighborhood saw her getting handcuffed in our driveway. She looked at me through the car window like I was the criminal.